Welcome to this explainer. If you own a business or manage a property, you know that storefront security is just absolutely crucial. Today, we're diving into a super practical guide on diagnosing your storefront security shutter. We're going to figure out exactly how to look at, listen to, and really evaluate your hardware so you can make a smart, cost-effective call on whether to fix it up or just replace the whole thing. Okay, so picture this. You've inherited a storefront that already has shutters. Or maybe, you put them in yourself like 10 years ago and totally forgot about them. But suddenly, something's off. The shutter is getting way harder to pull down, or the motor sounds like it's just agonizing over every single inch. And then that core dilemma hits you. Do I fix this thing, or do I replace it? It's a super common headache, and as we'll see, the answer isn't always cut and dry.
Right, let's look at our roadmap for today. We're covering 1. What actually fails, 2. Spotting warning signs, 3. The 3 service rules, and 4. When replacement wins. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. What actually fails? Let's bust a massive myth right off the bat.
There's a huge disconnect here between what we think breaks and what actually does. You look at a shutter and assume those big, highly visible metal slats are what fail. But honestly, those slats are going to survive the apocalypse. I mean, sure, they might get dinged up or tagged with graffiti, but they rarely actually fail. What really wears out is literally everything around them. We're talking the motors, the bottom rubber seals, the side tracks, bearings, brackets, the whole shebang. So if your 15-year-old shutter is struggling, it's almost certainly tired hardware, not the metal slats.
Moving on to Section 2, Spotting Warning Signs. It's time to start listening to your storefront.
Okay, sound is absolutely the cheapest diagnostic tool you've got. If your shutter sounds different today than it did last year, it is trying to tell you something. A new grinding noise? That points directly to failing bearings. A new rattle? You've probably got a track problem. And a high-pitched whine? That means the motor is under a heavy load and really struggling. Never, ever ignore these sounds, guys. They are your early warning system. But it's not just about listening. You got to use your eyes, too. Specifically, check that bottom seal. First, pull the shutter down completely. Then, get down and look closely at where the bottom actually meets the floor. Check the rubber itself. Is it missing? Is it cracked? Or maybe it's gotten so hard that it just doesn't compress anymore. If so, you're dealing with air and water gaps. But here's the good news. Swapping a bad seal is usually just a quick 15-minute fix for a pro, and boom, your storefront is completely sealed up again.
Section 3. The 3 service rules. When does repair actually make sense?
3 conditions, and you want all 3 of them true. This is the golden rule from our source material. It's a strict binary test. To safely and cost-effectively choose the fix-it route, your shutter absolutely has to pass every single one of the 3 conditions we're about to cover. Let's break them down.
Condition 1. The slats have to be in good shape. That means straight metal, decent paint, not worn down to bare steel, and no massive dents or bent sections. Why is this number 1? Well, those metal slats are by far the most expensive part of the original install. If they're structurally sound, you've already saved the bulk of the replacement cost.
Condition 2, the motor still runs. And yes, believe it or not, this applies even if it's super loud. A motor that's just noisy probably just needs a standard service or a quick part swap. But, and this is absolutely crucial, if that motor is completely stuck, physically hot to the touch, or tripping your circuit breaker, that motor is toast. A noisy motor is a few hours of work. A dead, overheating motor is going to start a much, much more expensive conversation. Condition 3, the hardware isn't custom or discontinued. Look, sometimes pros show up and find shutters installed by companies that went out of business years ago, using weird proprietary brackets that you literally can't find on the market today. Sure, you could patch them together temporarily, but that's just creating a really fragile fix. For a repair to actually make sense, standard replacement parts need to be readily available. 5 to 7. That's the payoff. If your shutter hits all 3 of those previous conditions, a pro can come out, replace the worn bits, lube the tracks, swap that rubber seal, and retest the motor. Usually, that's just a half-day service call, and the result is amazing. That relatively cheap visit buys you an impressive 5 to 7 more years of solid, reliable life.
Section 4. When replacement wins. Time for some honest math.
Let's look at the financial breaking point here. Imagine your motor is totally fried. The controls are dead, the tracks are bent out of shape, and the housing is loose. You're looking at replacing 4 major components. By the time you add up all the labor and materials, the total cost gets right up there, dangerously close to the price of a brand new shutter. When the math gets that close, replacement wins hands down. You're basically buying the next 10 years of security with a fresh warranty instead of spending almost as much just to awkwardly limp through the next 4.
Another huge red flag where replacement is the only way to go is about original install. We're talking the wrong mounting depth, the wrong size for the opening, maybe using an exterior-grade shutter indoors, or sticking a lightweight residential shutter on a busy commercial storefront. Paying to service these is literally just throwing good money after bad. You're paying to maintain a mistake. The only logical move is to rip it out and replace it with the right product.
And hey, this same logic applies to older setups, like those 1990s scissor gates. You know the ones, those folding horizontal metal gates? Yeah, they cover the opening, sure, but they don't seal out the weather, and they completely lack that solid, intimidating visual deterrent of a proper roll-down shutter. When one of these old relics breaks, do not try to fix it. The smart move is always to upgrade to a solid roll-down shutter. It's a real game changer for your security.
To help you plan ahead and avoid nasty surprises, here are the actual lifespans you should expect. The slats in the main structure, those should last you a solid 20 years. The motor will generally give you 10 to 15 years before it needs serious service or replacing. That bottom weather seal is good for about 3 to 5 years, and the housing, assuming it was mounted properly, should basically last indefinitely. Knowing these numbers is crucial. It means you won't be shocked when a seal needs swapping at year 4.
So, we've walked through the hidden warning signs, those 3 absolute rules for servicing, and the sometimes harsh math of replacement, which brings us to our final thought. What is your storefront shutter telling you right now? Are you hearing a new weird grinding noise? Can you see daylight peeking under that bottom seal? I highly encourage you to take an active role here. Go take a close look and a really good listen at your storefront today. Remember, sound is your absolute cheapest diagnostic tool, so trust your ears and always look for an honest assessment, not just a quick sales pitch. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.